Hello and welcome to episode 218 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Yes, the Wolf 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter. Please subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube if you can.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, everyone.
And Jack Williams.
Hello.
Harry, I don't know if we call it a smash and grab. It maybe did feel a little bit like that. A lot of help from the woodwork on both sides of the coin. Spurs hit it, I think, twice at least, and a little bit of help from it for Adama's winner.
Yeah, well, as I always do, I'm going to go right back to the beginning and the team selection, which I said last week, you can't predict what Lopetegui is going to do, and nobody would have predicted Johnny being left back, Neto being left wing. Probably could have guessed Costa would get a run out, but yeah,
I said Neto should start, and he did. I mean, I did jokingly say to Jack, didn't I? I said that.
Yeah, about Johnny.
Were you talking about Aït-Nouri? I take it, rather than Johnny, and it was a yes. But
we all laughed. We all laughed. We all laughed. Yes, we all said Aït-Nouri. But anyway, yeah, that shocked me. But let's be honest, that first half, Costa was hopeless. I hope his injury isn't too bad, because we needed Raul to come on, and Raul was really good for the rest of the game. But that first half, I mean, I glanced down at my phone at half time because we had 0 shots. They absolutely battered us. Obviously, as we mentioned, smashed the bar off the free kick. Sarr pulled off a great save. And it was a damage limitation, really. And Lopetegui, we bang on about it, but his substitutions and his bravery to make substitutions at half time won us the game. It was a masterclass decision. Bringing on Adama, bringing on Collins and putting 5 at the back was brilliant, because the second half, apart from when Son hit the underside of the bar early on, it was all Wolves then. And we were the main threat, even though we went 5 at the back. And Harry Kane, I think Dawson had him in his pocket, didn't he? He had him in his pocket, and Kilman was really good against him too. So fantastic performance second half. A massive 3 points on the day because of other results too. And not the greatest atmospheres at Molineux for me, but 3 points that are massive for our season.
Jack mentioned Raul there. His heat map was hotter than Dan's mum, circa 2007. He was incredible, wasn't he? I mean, it was almost back to the old Raul, wasn't it?
Yeah, like the substitutions, came on and did really, really well. Sorry,
he's lined that up for ages.
But yeah, fair play to the blokes. There's been a few glimpses lately, hasn't there, of him coming on and doing stuff. So, really pleased for that. Pleased for him. And I mean that first half was horrendous. It was just it was like we hadn't adjusted. It was just the same as the Liverpool game midweek. It was just like we come out to play another half of that, really, where we just looked like we were offering absolutely nothing. We didn't even look like getting out our half. Harry said we had 0 shots. I'm surprised it was that many, really. And we just don't. It just looked like we were completely clueless and didn't know what to do. And I didn't really understand the team selection. Obviously, Costa just looked off the pace. Neto, throwing him in like that when he hasn't really had any minutes since coming back, looked off the pace. There was one occasion where he did quite well actually to recover, but he just didn't look like beating a man. When he was in those sort of positions. So coming out for the second half, and bearing in mind we've been on the back foot a little bit, and it looks like it's a matter of time really till Spurs score. To bring Jimenez and Traore on, they really did change the game, didn't they? Really, and he took Lamina off, which was surprising, really, because you wouldn't have thought that Lamina was one of the players who did that much wrong in the first half. I mean, you'd probably be asking questions about Nunez again, because he's been sloppy at times, consistently. And Sarabia, I don't think he had a touch first half at all. Yeah, but fair play to Lopetegui, because it just completely transformed it. And, we had a few chances, really. Semedo was very, very close to a tap-in if he just stretched a little bit more. And we got a little bit of a luck, really, with the goal. But Traore, right place, right time. And at first, I thought that ball from where I was sat just hit him and went in. But watching it back, it's a great finish. It's a really, really good finish, and it's one of those glimpses that you get with him, like he can be a proper world beater footballer, and he decided to come on and do that. Like when on a couple of occasions recently, he just looks like he hasn't turned up. But really, really big 3 points, and one that really has propelled us up that table, really.
Dan, for all the signings that have been made, and how we talk about how good Lamina has been, how ineffective Costa has been, it is the old guard that came back and saved the day in the end. What do you think about that? I mean, I think we're starting to, as I said before, starting to see that Raul of old and linking up well and all of that sort of thing. And I think he was unlucky to be offside for his goal. He had the ball in the back of the net at the end. But like I say, early substitutions. Obviously, Raul came on a lot earlier than would have been planned. 28 minutes.
I think it's a bit of an interesting one, isn't it? At half time, you stand there and you go, "Bloody hell, Wolves! Jesus, have a go." In the second half, I thought we were the better team. Genuinely, if you just said that's 0-0 as it was, Wolves deserve to win it. And sometimes you do have to ride your luck a little bit. And, it's not Wolves' fault that they couldn't hit a ball on target, Spurs. Crossbar isn't in the goal. Raul did look very good. You've got to say it, haven't you? I know he's come in for a lot of pelters, but his work rate was superb. He created a couple of chances. He had the pick-up, turn and shot for the goal was very, very good. I haven't seen him do that for a very long time. So they're real positives to take, aren't they? You've just got to sort of get out of this negative loop that we sometimes have. I mean, I read what a couple of different pundits said about it, and I know Match of the Day was quite complimentary about Lopetegui's substitutions. Then I read another pundit wrote, Lopetegui just kept throwing players on until he got something right.
Who was that? That's like very through
Steve Madley.
Steve Madley, probably, yeah.
Some dog shit fish wrapping thing like the Athletic. It wasn't the Athletic, but one of these nonsense bloggers.
Saying that though, the one we haven't mentioned is, which again didn't see coming at half time. He brought Collins on and went through at the back, didn't he? And
who knew that us having 5 at the back and pace and attack? I mean, was it 2018? Have we gone back in time, Harry? Is that what happened? Raul and Traore ripping it up, and we've got 5 at the back. What's happened?
Yeah, you're not meant to look more attacking, are you, if you go 5 at the back? But no. I think you mentioned Lamina coming off. He was really good first half, I agree, but he was so deep. He was doing what Neves used to do, and he was just stood in between Dawson and Kilman a lot. So maybe Lopetegui looked at that and thought, right, let's get a proper defender on there. Let's stop leaking all these chances that Spurs were creating, and to be fair to Spurs. But another person I want to shout out as well, I thought Moutinho was brilliant when he come on. So substitutions, perfect. And we've said, bring on Moutinho, bring on Adama these days, because that's when they're most effective. And this game proved it. They both, and I know Adama weren't very good when he come on against Liverpool, but he wanted to turn up today. And now the conversation is, will he stay? I know he's reported to be going on a free. When he plays like that, everyone's like, go on, just give him it. But he's going to go, isn't he? Let's be honest. But I'll tell you what, he is a game changer on his day, and he's won us that game, and it's a crucial 3 points for our season. It's a great finish. It was a great finish, barring in, composed. Something you'd never thought you'd do.
I had the idea. You sort of thought it was going to take something like that to win the game, and so to do it, I didn't think he had that in him. That would have knocked the clock off most times.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, we're saying, we wanted to stay as such a game changer against Liverpool.
Poor.
But Liverpool, they spanked Man United 7-0 at the same ground 3 days later. So, it's one of these things you've got to sort of take that into consideration. Maybe they've just turned a corner. The thing that I liked a lot, or the thing that was interesting, I think, to watch, is the fact that everyone seemed really happy for Adama. They all were really congratulating him at the end, and they were all running over to him straight away. And there seemed to be a nice bit of sort of the team was behind him really, and quite really pleased for him, and relieved that he's got his goal, or because he hasn't had one for a while, has he? I can't remember when the last one was, but everyone did seem really together. And if he is going to stay, it will be because of the team spirit, I think, and because of Lopetegui. But you're right, I can't see it because I think he would have signed the contract already if it was going to happen. But either way, let's just see what happens in the next few months, because you never know.
I think the big standout performance that does go unnoticed, I know that's been mentioned, is Craig Ballon Dawson Bayless. He has been incredible. But I think you can tell by a player as well who has spent a long time at our biggest rivals, but also the way that the West Ham fans talk about him as well. Yeah. That actually Wolves have done a really great piece of business. And I can't remember the last time we said that.
Yeah, he like you said, the West Ham fans are gutted, aren't they? And it's just good for us that he wanted to move back to the area, because he literally is one of the most important signings we've made in January, definitely. And because the atmosphere was so quiet as well, first half, I could hear him a lot. He's like very loud and obviously demanding, which you'd expect from an experienced defender. And he's really praising Sarr every time Sarr tipped one over the bar or did something good. But another person I just want to mention, because we kind of brushed over it. We said that Neto was poor. We said that Costa was poor before we went off. But I thought Johnny considering he was a surprise pick, he was really good. Like, I thought Aït-Nouri would be in there. I know Bueno's out for a bit, but Johnny, we keep saying we think he's past it. Both his knees are gone, but he had a really, really good game. So I think we've got to mention that as well.
Was there a man of the match in there for you, Jack?
Yeah, I mentioned Dawson. I gave a shout out to Semedo as well. I think you probably got to pick. Jimenez came on, was really good as well, wasn't he? Really, there's a few shouts in there. Jose Sarr, did some important stuff as well. Maybe not man of the match performance, but you got to give him a shout. But I'm going to go with Dawson, I think, because just for the similar reasons. Harry said he was a rock, really, wasn't he? He was, and to come in like this, and it shows that my ball knowledge is terrible. I honestly thought that he was going to sit on the bench behind Kilman and Collins. To be honest, I thought that was going to happen, but he's just been straight in there, really, and you can see why. I mean, he's a rock at the back, and he's also a threat going forward as well, as you've seen. So, really pleased that he's come and just settled so quickly, and it's good that he's if he's shouting a lot, it means he can take over from Mr. Cody.
Bayliss, man of the match.
I've got to give it Raul. It's the first time I've watched him in a long time and thought, you can win us a game. And that has got to get some due credit.
And Harry?
It's between those two, isn't it, Dawson and Raul? But I think you would have to give it Raul. But also, although that Son chance when he hit the underside of the bar, I'm sure Dawson got a touch on that, didn't he? To flick it onto the bar, like a little deflection. Yeah, so that was huge. Good spot. Yeah, Raul
did.
Raul.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Sam. Sorry.
Go on. Yes, sorry.
One more thing I've got to mention, because I have criticised the atmosphere a lot. One thing I did find funny throughout the game, because Harry Kane, did you notice he was whining at the referee a lot? Moaning about decisions and things like that. And I thought the South Bank were quite funny with some of the songs they were singing at the Spurs fans. And he, like I mentioned earlier, was so quiet. And it was just good to see, because I thought Kane would score. I thought it was dead certain he'd score. So shout out to the South Bank for winding him up, I guess.
The atmosphere in that first half was terrible, though, wasn't it? I know there was nothing to cheer, but it was, considering how we've turned a corner since Christmas, and the performances have been obviously not all perfect, but God, so much better. And then to have a home game against the so-called Big Six team, and it was just so flat from start to finish. And whether that came from the stands and affected the players, or it was the players who pushed it onto the stands with their negative performance, I don't know. But there was
a great watch, was it?
The whole game from start to finish was a bit crap, to be honest. I think the first half was terrible. Second half, a hell of a lot better, obviously, because we scored and eventually won. But it's one of those where the result was so much better than the actual watching of the game of football. It was a difficult watch, even though we went on to win it.
Yeah.
At least that massive reason for bringing in safe standing to improve the atmosphere has worked, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't at all.
No, it hasn't helped. Let's have a look then. Next up will be Newcastle, a lovely Sunday trip. Again, it just seems we always play them on that day of the week, and we hate those kickoff times. However, Harry, it's going to be a little bit different to how and when we played them in previous seasons at St James Park. New money and a new fan base, I guess you would say, in some respects. Maybe not quite inside the ground yet, but I'm sure there will be soon. How do you think this one will pan out?
I'm confident. I'm really confident going into it. Yeah, they've dropped down to 6th in the table. I think that the League Cup final was a massive game for them, wasn't it? And I think they're in a bit of a slump after losing that. They haven't won in at least the last 4 in the Premier League, drawing 2 of them. I think Joe Linton's out, suspended for them, who's obviously a good midfielder for them. And the way, if we turn up and play well and Lopetegui gets it right, I feel the kind of way I felt going into the Fulham game. Whereas, yes, they're up there in European places, but on paper, I think our team matches up to theirs. And on current form, I think we're looking like the team that could get the points out of the game. I'm really confident we'll get something out of this game. I hope you don't bite me on the ass, but I am.
We were talking about it the weekend, weren't we? And I think, because I was saying that if you compare them to maybe Man City, they're probably at their like Adebayor, Benjani stage, aren't they?
The beginning.
The beginning of something big. Because we all know that, flash in the pan money doesn't buy success, but it absolutely does if it's sustained over a period of time. That's just a fact, isn't it? I mean, you can look at Man City, the amount of Premier Leagues they've won over the last few years. That's just the way it is. But Jack, is this a good time to play Newcastle off the back of a cup defeat, and also the amount of games that they have been drawing this season?
Yeah, I think it's one that we should go into with no fear, really, because we have been putting in performances, particularly away from home, and much better performances, even though not necessarily winning. And like you say, they've had a dip in form recently. I didn't actually honestly expect Newcastle to. I didn't think they'd be anywhere near the relegation zone, but I didn't think they'd be up there competing this quickly. I think it's a little bit of a massive transformation. You consider where they were just over a year ago, or Christmas last year, and they were in the relegation zone. So the turnaround has been quite impressive, So fair play to them with the signings they've made. They've been sensible. Obviously, they have spent and invested, but they've been sensible at the same time. So I think dips in form when you're up there at the top are always going to happen at some point when you're not Man City or these top level teams. So so I think they are there for the taking. And the one thing we've probably got on our side now is this little thing that's happened with us. After we've been sustained, is that little thing of expectation creeps in. So if you're going to St James's Park now, and the average football fan who maybe doesn't look at the table that much will look at this game and think, Wolves have been rubbish this season. Look where they are. Look where we are. We should be winning this game. Not realising that since Christmas, we're a completely different team. And we're actually a lot better than our position now. If I think, is it 17 points we've got since Boxing Day? And we had 10 before that. Yeah. So that's a massive improvement in such a short space of time as well. So go there, just, be solid at the back, which we have been most of the time lately, and we can frustrate them. And I think that crowd will start to get on their back, and we can take something from it.
Bayliss, if a Wolves striker, and it's most likely going to have to be Raul or Cunha, doesn't score in this fixture, then it will be over a year since a Wolves striker scored in the Premier League. Is that a good omen? Do you think there's going to be a little bit more onus on it, or is it? Not, they have not been trying, I suppose, have they? But it's one of those records that you maybe don't want.
No, quite right. It's one of those, isn't it? They go in fits and starts. Costa's had games where he looks like he's doing a lot, but he doesn't look like scoring. Cunha should have really scored Saturday. That
chance was rubbish with him. That was really crap, to be fair.
It was like a left footer hitting a ball with his right foot, is what it looked like. Got them, haven't we? I mean, personally, I think score draw written all over it. But they are there for the taking. They haven't been very good since Christmas.
Harry?
I mean, I'm trying to find it out. I think they've only won one since Christmas, but I don't know if that's right or not.
They've certainly dipped. Do I think Wolves striker will score, Sam? I think Raul's going to do it. I really do. I think he's going to start off the back of that Spurs performance. You've got to be confident in him. He's got to bag one. It ain't going to be Costa. He's crocked. It ain't going to be Cunha. So it's just got to be Raul, hasn't it?
I am confident Raul will start. That's the thing. Who knows what's going to happen with that team?
I think he will. After that performance, he's got to, hasn't he? After the way he played against Spurs.
And Costa's injury, you'd think so. But you don't know how he's going to set up. That's the thing. We'll
you
see.
Can't predict it, can
but
you?
I've got faith in him. But
not one person in that stadium would have thought Johnny would be starting left back.
No, and just like Neto, I thought there's no chance Neto's barely, since he's come back and been around the squad, to throw him straight into the starting place a few games later when he hasn't really come on and featured.
No Pedence on the bench,
no.
Which I don't.
Why was
really,
that? Do we know?
Because he's been crap, I assume. Hasn't he? The last few times he's come on, he's just fairy flicks.
But before that, his goals were keeping us in it.
He's top goal scorer with 5. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But although he was quite active on social media afterwards, sort of praising and bigging up the win and stuff, Harry. So, I mean, I think if he'd been dropped and he disagreed with it, then he wouldn't have been like that, because he's usually quite controversial on sort of Instagram and Twitter.
He's usually controversial towards referees, though, isn't he? If they do something crap, but
although they
maybe you are right. Then maybe it was. I think when Lopetegui was asked about it, I'm sure he said it was tactical. That the reason why he weren't in the squad. So, yeah.
I think Newcastle have won 2 in the Premier League since the restart.
Is it 2? Sorry, I was trying to Google it. I couldn't get a very good answer.
If I've got it right, I may have got it wrong. I'm only human. Let's do a score prediction, Harry.
I think we're going to do what Liverpool did to Man United. I'm joking. Nice 7-0. Well, just on that, there's that stat floating around, 1931, Wolves were the last team to do it. Is that right?
I think Bayliss dug it out.
1931, Wolves beat Man United 7-0, didn't they?
In the league, and I think that was the biggest defeat
before
Man United have had.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But on Wolves, I'm not going to say 4-1 either because I'm giving up on that bet, I think. Do you know what? I think we're going to surprise a lot of people and go there and win 2-0.
Oof, big shout. Jack?
It's Wolves Newcastle, so 1-1.
Yeah, good shout. Bayliss?
I was thinking of Desmond.
A 2-2. Okay. And do you think a Wolves striker will score?
Yeah.
Weirdly, I do. I don't know which one of the three it'll be, but yeah.
Probably not Costa.
Not Costa.
He's out for the season. by the looks of it.
Okay, which one of the two?
I
think Raul's probably got more chance than Kuna.
Can we class Cunha as a central striker now? Because he keeps playing him off a bit on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's close enough, isn't it?
Yeah,
can I
we
just
need
say
it.
as well, Sam, can you do a prediction other than 2-1 Wolves? Because you've done that for the last 75 podcasts.
If you're going to drop your 4-1, then I'll drop my 2-1. But I think it is going to be 1-1.
Oh. Don't put your neck out there too much, man.
No. Or 7-0. 7-1. And we'll score an own goal. Let's get your latest betting odds and ticket news.
Yeah, I got some betting odds. Wolves are a good price. We're 9-2 just to win it. So everything's quite positive. Couple of 1-1 draws. I've gone with Jimenez to score first. 1-1 draw. 70-1.
Ooh. 70?
70. It's good.
1-1 draw. Raul to score first. 70-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
2-1 Wolves.
Probably because he hasn't scored for a year.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That might have something to do with it.
But they are a bit weird, these odds. So 2-1 Wolves, Neto to score first, 130-1.
Ooh, that's a big
It's long. Lots of value.
And then I was having to think about it earlier today. I thought we could shithouse this and scrap a 1-0. So I've gone Wolves to win, no on both teams to score, and Collins to score in the 90 minutes, 130-1.
There's a lot going on there.
He'd be on the bench, Collins.
The last one for you, because I did do a Desmond, because that's what I think. 2-2 draw, Cunha first goal, 175-1.
Massive, isn't it?
Value.
Shall I do Semedo 2-2 just to see what it is?
He's been playing well, Bayliss, you've got to admit.
He has.
He's not been far away. Yeah.
If he was an inch taller, he'd have scored.
This is one of the games where I'd fancy my little half-time Newcastle full-time Wolves bets. I think it could be one of those sorts of occasions, particularly with how we were in the second half compared to the first half on the game on Saturday.
That does mean we have to score 2. It depends how confident you are of that happening.
Just Semedo 1-1. What are you saying?
Yeah. Mate, 300-1.
200.
350-1.
What
Semedo 2-2.
Force 2-5.
900-1.
That's silly.
Wow.
That is
Put a
silly.
pound on Bayliss.
Can you do 7-0?
So people are asking 7-0. I don't think he's not even on the app.
in the
No,
comments,
the best
so I
you
like
can
it.
get to
7-0.
nil is 4-0.
I was well.
Did you see
But
that?
if you did want Wolves 4-0, Semedo first goal, Sky Bet are currently offering 8,000-1.
8,000-1.
I mean, stranger things have happened
true.
than that. Let's be honest.
a Liverpool fan put a tenner on 6-0 and cashed out in that game.
Oh, really? Fair play.
Yeah, it was big odds. I can't remember how much. Oh, he won about $3,000. So if you could work out the odds on that, I don't know.
I mean, that's mad, to be fair, because it wasn't 1-0 at half time or something.
Yeah.
It won only one.
Yeah. And Man, you didn't look that bad.
No. Jack has your ticket news.
Yeah, I do. So the away game at Newcastle on Sunday, as we know, is sold out. Has been for a little bit of time. The next game after that is the home game against Leeds United, which is on the 18th of March. Very limited availability for that. There are a handful of tickets left, but a few singles knocking about. But yeah, not very many at all. I've got the away game information for our next away game after Newcastle, which is away at Nottingham Forest on Saturday, the 1st of April, at 3 p.m. kickoff. Yeah, it is a big game, that one. Actually, two teams that have improved quite a lot, haven't they, really, since Christmas?
Jack, would you like some ticket news on that that's just broken? The train strikes have been cancelled.
The train strikes have been cancelled. I was just about to say there were train strikes.
10 minutes ago. Yeah.
That might completely change my plans for that weekend.
Your liver.
Yeah. April Fool's Day. I'll be the April Fool on the train back to London. They're on sale to the gold away season tickets as of Friday, silver away season tickets as of Monday the 13th, then on the points starting with 1,180, and that includes the ballot winners as of the 15th of March, which is the Wednesday.
Aha!
Who's that good-looking boy with a lovely voice? It's Annie Lennox. Let's have a look at Wolves' accounts. The club has made a loss of £46.1 million during the 21-22 season. It's the first one that isn't directly impacted by COVID. Revenue fell by £30 million in that time. A little bit concerning, isn't it, Harry? I think there was a £50 million difference with player signings, and obviously we've got the big ones to come in the next one. So it was Sarr, Aït-Nouri, Mascara, and they got £15 million back for Rui Patricio, Rafa Mir, and Owen Otasawi. Remember him?
Played less home games, Sam. So less
yes,
you
mean fewer. Harry, Jeff Shee's given himself a big fat pay rise, though, so it's not all bad news.
Yeah, well, when he got rid of Scott Sellers, so I think he deserved the 50% pay rise, to be honest. So give himself a pat on the back. No, but that one that you mentioned before is because we had less money off Sky on that because of the World Cup thing, wasn't it? I think that was an impact of that.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I don't know what it means. I think most clubs lose money, don't they? I think Bayless, do you know more? I don't.
Doesn't matter, does it? Because they all write it off through
it's all loans
silly
and that, yeah.
purchase vehicles that they all
nothing to worry about, basically, is there? We're not going under.
It's a good point, though, on that, because Wolves borrowed £13 million from Fosun interest-free. So that that's an example of what Dan was saying there. But wages fell by nearly £20 million, which obviously shows how much the difference is between probably just Patricio and Sarr would be a fair chunk of that. But yeah, Jeff Shee's pay rise, £212,000 pay rise to £612,000.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's almost as much as Dan had to get.
That's not bad work to go and watch the reserves play and
sip a cup of tea.
Club.
Yeah. Just shows how mad football is, really. But it's definitely that broadcast revenue, because I think actually the games aren't really usually worth that much, are they? But I think because of COVID, all of the games were televised. Obviously, we don't get as many as the big teams up there because the split is just different. But we'll see what happens. I mean, talking about money, Wolves are apparently in the top 10, actually 6th on the list of the cheapest Premier League teams to follow. The cost index is 29.88, so that's match day tickets costing on average £43.40, season ticket costing on average £786, and home shirts, one of the cheapest at £55 if bought from the club shop.
Wow.
A pie will set you back £4. Parking £6.96, and the cost of a pint in the stadium is £5. But it may take you many, many hours to actually get it fucking poured for you. Jack had a nightmare the other day where the staff behind. I mean, what happened, Jack? I mean, you were there. I mean, you ordered 3 Guinness. I mean, you're going to be there for a while anyway. But my God, you had a nightmare.
It wasn't just me moaning about it, and I know Dan's had a little rant about it before, but. Right to their faces. I think Dan's rant was, but it's just like they're on slow-mo mode all the time, and there's no urgency there at all. And I asked for 2 pints of Guinness, it's 3 pints of Guinness. They poured 2, the Guinness ran out, so straight away I'm thinking, oh God. And then the guy just forgot about it, and he just served the next person when I'm still waiting there for this pint of Guinness that I paid for. But yeah, it's something's not quite right. I mean, they need to just, even if I'm guessing they're all temporary staff and stuff, but they need to just have a think, and just even lots of grounds, like they pre-pour the pints, don't they? They know that people are going to come down at half time. But
yeah,
I went down a good 8.
Where will these lot come from?
That gap in the match.
I went down a good there was quite a lot of added time, wasn't there? So I went down probably as before the board was going up. And I don't think I got the beers until a good, nearly the end of the actual half-time period. And that was just for 3 pints. And there was 5 people in front of me in the queue. That was it. And it was horrendous.
Is there another sport where they don't do this? Like every other sporting ground I've been to that isn't football, you can get a pint.
They are losing so much money by just people just giving up and thinking.
Harry got impatient.
If your till is, and you're thinking this 15-minute slot we got at the football with people on a Saturday at 3:00 who all want this amount of pints, and we've sold 25 beers in that time, something's not right. Like, what's going on?
Even if they set up like half of the tills, right, is just a pint line. You can go there, all you can get is a pint of the 3 or 4 choices.
They do that some places, don't they? Some away grounds. Yeah. I've seen that before.
Or just they have separate bottle bars or something, like plastic bottles. So you just buy those.
I'm not moaning, Jack, because that same lad who served you and messed up charged me £2.80 for 2 Guinness before the game. So,
And
Now, what was your secret, Harry?
I said to him, mate, is it buy one get one free? Joking, and I think he confused him, so he just put £2.80 into the till and give me 2 Guinness. I was like, cheers,
to be
mate.
fair, it didn't take much to confuse him. I don't think.
This is a sign of that something's wrong. Like that.
Yes.
That's
No.
yeah.
Revenue's down, and we're like, yeah, well done. Who knew?
Maybe because they have to spend so many millions on everything else, it just doesn't matter to them.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
what's an
maybe.
extra 1,000 pints?
I've also thought,
profit?
do they outsource it? Do they actually take the revenue from there, or is it just do they
It'll
company
be a
pay
third-party
for it?
company.
Or okay, but I suppose if you don't pour any Guinness, then you can't accidentally sell it for £2.80. So
I don't know. I mean, if it was a third party, you'd think they'd be absolutely smashing them out, wouldn't you?
yeah,
Like that is when it does matter, isn't it? If you got a company,
I'd imagine that. I'm only guessing here, a complete guess, but I would guess that they are on like a retainer, so they have their annual company fee for doing Molineux on 18 occasions, and that's their lot. And then they're taking a cut and splitting it with Wolves of the full takings.
It's a shame, really, because the selection of alcohol there is now really good. It's just a shame
Madly.
that we can't ever experience
Star
any of
Brabant
it.
too.
Yeah, love it. What else are we going to talk about? Kevin McDonald scored on his return scored his first goal since coming back from a kidney transplant. And Baelish, you found an interesting Wolves link to the game in which he scored for Exeter City.
Because it was Wycombe Wanderers versus Exeter City. Chem Campbell scored the first goal. Kevin McDonald got the second.
And what number was he at Wolves?
77.
It was 77.
It was his first senior goal as well, apparently.
Oh, was it?
Nah.
He never scored for Wolves in like a senior game. Don't quote me on that, because you know what I like my quizzes. I get everything wrong. But
talking about quizzes,
on that note.
talking about quizzes, that's a great segue into Harry's quiz.
Yeah, so the theme throughout this podcast, especially when we were talking about Newcastle, was Wolves won, Newcastle won. In the history against Newcastle, right? I'm just telling you this before we get into the quiz. Since 1898, so our whole history of playing Newcastle, we have drew. No. This don't worry. We have drew 1-1 19 times against Newcastle. 9 of those are since 2003. So the quiz today, lads, is in the last 9 games when we've drew 1-1 against Newcastle. We're going to go round in circles. You've got to get the Wolves goal scorer in that 1-1 draw. It starts off easy because obviously it's from recently, and we're going to work our way backwards
Harry?
to 2003. Yes, and I'll give you clues. And if for bonus points as well, if you can get the Newcastle player who scored, you're doing well. So let's start with Sam. 28th of August, 2022. Wolves drew 1-1, which was this season. Who scored for Wolves that game?
That was Reading weekend. I know it was because I watched it in a pub in Reading.
Well, Sam, go on. You go first. If you get it wrong, we've got Jack to cover your back.
I genuinely
quick
can't.
before the comments fill up.
Oh right, yeah, okay. Neves.
Well done, big long ranger. Can you remember who scored for Newcastle? Hwanky Chan set him up.
It was.
It was Almiron.
Saint
Maximin.
Yeah, it's got a banger.
So we'll go to you, Baileys, for this one. The 21st of the 2nd, 2021. Wolves drew 1-1 away at Newcastle. Who scored for Wolves that day? I think this was one in lockdown. That would make sense, doesn't it? Or just around that time.
Yeah, it would have been.
It's 21. I'll take a guess at Neto. We've been injured.
No, but what I will say, it does begin with an N, and it might be a repeat answer, Sam. So back round to you.
Is it Neves again?
Neves.
It is Neves. It was the header. Can you remember the header?
No.
I don't think you'll get the Newcastle player. He's a centre half. Any guesses?
Burn.
No, back then, 21.
Oh, yeah, no.
Lascelles.
Never got
that. To you then, Jack. 25th of August, 2020, a 1-1 home draw. I'll give you a clue. A Wolves striker scored for Wolves this day.
2020. Well, Jimenez.
Yes. Any guesses on the Newcastle player? I don't think you'll get this one.
One of the long staff.
Oh, that's ain't a bad guess. Jacob Murphy. I'm too far off. Background. Bayless, your turn. 1-1. 11th for the first 20, so the same season. Actually, no.
Away.
No, was this the same season? This might have been the...
Season
this
before.
would have been the... a season after.
Home or
Beginning
away?
of the next season, at home, we drew 1-1. Midfielder scored for Wolves. But it's not Neves, I'll give you that one.
I don't think it's Moutinho. I don't think he scored one against Newcastle.
Bit of an unsung hero.
Sace?
And a bad guess, Sam. Do you want to go? That's a very good guess. Think pace, think similar. Play midfield and defence.
Dendoncker.
Yes. And for Newcastle, he's on fire this season. I was surprised he scored back then 3 years ago.
Joelinton.
No, he's on fire. Scored loads of goals.
Wilson.
You've already guessed him
Almiron.
the first guess. Almiron. Number 5. This one was just after we'd been to. I think it was when we'd been to Slovan Bratislava. That game when Luslot went. We come back, went to Newcastle away, drew 1-1. 27th of the 8th, 19.
I think
Which
I know that
defender
one.
scored for Wolves? Jack.
Matt Doherty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad guess.
It was
that
2-2, wasn't it, when he
That
scored?
was 2-1. That was 2-1 Wolves.
Oh, that was a
game.
2-1 one. Okay.
Yeah. Can you guess Bayliss defender?
Oh, I think I know it is.
Defender for Wolves.
Was
What
wearing
year was it?
green kit. In 2019, we'd just come back from Slovan.
Is it not one
So
of
we
those
were all
ones
a
I-
bit depressed.
Is
from
it
one
Cody,
of those.
did Cody
Okay,
get
no.
it?
I reckon it's Bolly.
No, Jack. You're running
Bolly,
out of
no?
defenders here. 2019.
Johnny.
Yes, Johnny.
Is
Remember
it?
the volley? The volley bottom corner.
Those-
Remember it?
Yeah.
And I'll just give you there's Lascelles again for them, Newcastle.
Oh,
So we scored
really?
twice against these 1-1s. Yeah, starting to get a bit harder now. Back round to you, Bayliss. 12 for the second, 19. It was that
19.
first. I'm guessing it's the first Prem season, that wasn't it? So another defender for Wolves.
Another defender. So
It was literally on the line. It was a last-minute equaliser. I remember it.
on the line at Molineux.
Yeah. 12 for the second, 2019. It was a midweek game as well. I remember this well.
Okay. I wouldn't have been there then. No,
No one in the comments has got it. It was Sam, defender, 2019. King,
Pass.
Jack, King, defender,
Bolly.
2019. Amazing. Just so you can guess.
Cody.
The one who plays next to him all the time.
Bolly.
Sace.
Bolly. Isaac Hayden scored for Newcastle. Now we're going to 2010, Bayliss. 28 for the 8th, 2010. 1-1. A massive striker called Andy Carroll scored for Newcastle. I'll just give it you. Who scored for Wolves that day? Equalised.
Have a clue. I'm the only one that hasn't a clue yet.
I know
it's
this.
an absolute monster 2010. Hero striker for Wolves. Premier League.
10 heroes.
Fletcher.
Nah. No, not Fletcher.
Sylvan Ebanks-Blake.
Ebanks-Blake. Sorry, I got that wrong. He put us 1-0 up and then Andy Carroll equalised with a header. Now we're getting tasty. This is a hard one. Oh. So in the Premier League season in 2003, when we got promoted, we drew 1-1 both games. So on the 9th of the 5th, 2004, so the game right at the end of the season, I think we was already relegated. Put it this way, Lee Bowyer scored for Newcastle, who equalised for Wolves. This is a hard one. We'll give you all a guess each, and then I'll just tell you because it's hard. Sam, start with you. Wolves striker, Premier League, 04.
Henri Camara.
No. That's a good guess, but Jack?
Henri. It wasn't Henri Camara. That was what I was
This
going
is
to
a
say.
tough one.
Theo Ganaya.
Yes, what a
Great
guess.
shout. Well done.
I didn't know he was at Wolves then. I thought we signed him in the Championship the year we got relegated. So that's a great guess, Jack. Last one, Bayliss. 29th for the 11th, 2003. So the home game of that season. It was a 1-1. Alan Shearer equalised for Newcastle. But which striker scored for Wolves that day?
Miller.
Not a bad guess, Sam.
Oh, that's a good shout. What did Jack mention last week? Everson?
No, good guess,
I think it
Jack.
was
He
striker.
popped up in the quiz the other week, this player.
What was the date again? Sorry.
03,
I think
29th for
I
the
know.
11th, 03.
do I?
So
It was a
early on in that
striker.
Premier League season, yeah. It's not Henri Camara. It's not Everson. It's not Kenny Miller.
It's got to be Blake or
I
Undar,
was gonna
surely.
say-
That many strikers.
Jack.
I don't know.
Sat
Nathan
Bayless.
Blake, isn't it?
It's Nathan Blake. There we go. There's the quiz. I
Great
thought that was
quiz.
good.
That's a good
One
quiz,
quiz.
Harry.
9-1-1 draws. Can you believe it? Since 2003 against Newcastle.
That's why it seems so obvious now that
it's the 1-1 game, isn't it?
It is, yeah, every single time. How long did that take you to put together, Harry?
Nah, 2 minutes. I'm just got my phone out. I just thought I'd have a look how many 1-1s there's been, and I couldn't believe there's been 19 in that history against them.
To be fair, I don't think I know anyone who's better at remembering individual goals as much as Harry.
No,
honestly, I don't know. And is that? No, yeah.
I need to get a life tomorrow.
Yes. We'll say bye to Harry Mansell, who's going to go and get himself a life.
Yes. Cheers, everyone.
Jack Williams.
Bye, everyone.
And Dan Bayliss.
Goodbye, everybody.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.